folks. This is Jennifer from What If Wellness, and I am here to talk with you again as a nature nudge to go a little deeper into the reel that I posted the other day, or maybe there were a couple of them. It was about when I was out at the trail that has the river next to it. I was walking and I took my dog down to the side stream that had broken free of the main river. And it's actually kind of interesting because it's an area where there's a spring that comes back up, but also a river has gotten a little side river. What are those called? Tributary? And and I wanted him to drink from the fresher water out of the spring rather than what might be flowing in the overwater, because it's also, I think, close to fertilizing season, and I want to make sure that what's coming off the farm fields isn't what's going into my dog's belly, because some of it's not as organic as I'd like. But the spring, of course, has been filtered and is very good drinking water. So it was interesting how when I was there, I was thinking of how strong the water was flowing and how could we go with the flow when there are two rivers to choose from, when there are two different streams in front of me. How do I choose which one I want to flow with? And I continued on my walk, and I found a few feet ahead of that, not a few feet, maybe a tenth of a mile, 2/10. There was where the waters came together, and it was a really strong flow. It was this really beautiful, powerful river upstream where the two were united rather than where they had been separated, and then there were two a little bit weaker, a little less powerful streams because not as much was flowing together. And at the time I thought that the answer, one of the answers, might be to go to the source, to go above where the split was, and to try and go back to that old united feeling. But then, even just as I was signing on, I saw a post that my brother had put out, Adam Sutton, that was shared from Headspace, and it was asking, well, I don't have it exactly memorized. I only saw it momentarily, but it flicked something in my brain. It said something about, what if we use the energy from the old patterns to create what we really want? So as we shift those patterns, we take that energy from the old pattern that wasn't serving us and put it towards something that is serving us. So for me, instead of going all the way back to the beginning and trying to recreate something that used to be, what if as the streams come down, they re-meet and they come together? And what if they share their experiences that they had in both of those sides? What if it was absolutely critical for this stream to go this way and this stream to go this way, so that when they come back together, the pattern is even stronger and has new information and has a different way of seeing the world because we're seeing each other's experiences and taking those in. I feel like that's really important. I think I also kind of like the idea that one side was also receiving water from a spring, so it had been filtered and cleansed, so there's a little bit of newness to that water as well. And then there was the other water that was going over rocks and having a really wild experience, really powerful and maybe somewhat painful. experience. The left-hand side was kind of a more peaceful river, and it was going through like really green and almost flat. So it was a very gentle downgrade. And the other side has gentle, and then it's a drop, and then gentle, and then a drop. So it's a very different experience of the two streams, of the two sides. What if both of those experiences are absolutely essential for our coming back together and learning from each other to create a new powerful stream? I like to think of it as a stream of humanity, a stream of consciousness, a stream of kindness, that we take the lessons from our hardships, we take the lessons from this new filtered stream, we take the lessons from even the beings that have walked through these waters, because both of these streams have humans and other beings, other life, moving through them. And it might be interesting to take that information as well. This is, of course, a really big metaphor for what I feel like is happening in the world right now, where we have some pretty strong polarity, and it's not just in the United States. It seems to be a bigger polarity than that. And I am just curious if we can look at each other and acknowledge that we came from the same headwaters, and that we've all been having our own different experiences and our different beliefs. And what if we trust or agree or decide that coming together again and learning from those differences is going to be beneficial, and using the energy of those old patterns, those things that we learned and those things that we practiced, because every day that we're living, we're practicing our beliefs, right? We're not just, not existing. If I believe that sharing nature nudges is important, then I practice that, right? I'm here every week doing nature nudges. If I believe that wearing a mask in public is important, then I practice that every day. If I believe that confronting people who are wearing masks is important, then that's what I practice. I just read a friend's post about being confronted in a store and the person being really angry with her for wearing a mask, even though they were wearing a mask at the beginning of the confrontation. So I don't actually understand that. And maybe we all come together and we decide what we really want and what the stream looks like on the other side, and we learn from this division. We learn from this polarity. I think we can. I really and truly think we can. But how do we do it? How do we move forward? How do we start trusting that people that have been yelling at us in grocery stores, whether it was for wearing a mask or for not wearing a mask, how do we trust that those people might want the same thing that we want? How do we get there? I think the first thing is, again, trusting that we're from the same headwaters, and that we have similar heart, and that we have similar hope. I think that's part of it. And then hearing each other's experiences is really important, and understanding that we are split rivers and that we're all experiencing our completely different worlds. We're not experiencing the same world if we have completely different beliefs and if we're flowing in different locations. It's just impossible, because we create our experience around us. And I don't mean we create the bad things that happen to us. I don't mean that at all. I mean that we create the story about what's around us. So I might have a completely different story from taking a walk in the woods than somebody else, and the same woods, and we're both We both go in and we both go out. And we both have different stories because of what I bring to the woods versus what they bring to the woods. And even if nobody attacks either one of us, or nobody says hello in a friendly way to either one of us, we still have completely different experiences of that walk in the woods. Would you agree with that? I think you probably would, because you've probably heard some of my experiences of walks in the woods, and you're like, oh, that's nothing like what I've had. I'm just guessing because I have a unique perspective. But how do we face all of this challenge? What do we do? How do we hold who we are and trust that we can become part of that shared experience again someday? How can we bring our worlds together in a way that's more powerful and more hopeful and flows in the direction that we all want to go? Or at least most of us want to go, or we all think we want to go. I don't know. I don't know how to get to that part yet. But I wasn't sure, and I didn't know what to share with you, so I asked my deck. I do Akashic readings, and one of the ways that I do it is I pull a card from the Akashic Tarot that my friend Joy Strong gave me a few years ago when I was just first starting thinking about doing Akashic readings, and she sent this in the mail to me as a gift, and I have loved them ever since. So thank you, Joy Strong, for that. I pulled a card. I asked for what the world might most benefit from, or the people who watch this video might most benefit from. And I got this card, and it's really beautiful. It's called the Willow, and its number is 2 of Forces. And if you look at it, you can see that it's actually quite a lovely experience. And I want you to know that it was reversed. So, let me read to you what it says in my little handy book about the reversed experience of this card. And the description of the card, just so that you can see it better, is a big, beautiful willow tree stands in the summer sun. The stately tree is strong and flexible. And it says this card upright is telling you that you are too. But we got it reversed, so let's look at what it says. The willow reversed indicates that the winds of change, or conflict, are blowing around you. Does that sound about right, everybody? Don't try to fight it, or you may be uprooted. Instead, stay flexible and bend with the demands of the times. While it may appear to be a period of total upheaval, like the willow, you are strong and capable of bending without breaking. Stay centered yet adaptable within the circumstances swirling around you. You have deep and strong roots in your spiritual identity, whatever your spiritual identity is. So rely on them now. This cycle of uncertainty will pass. In the meantime, let yourself be open to the guidance of the records. You are grounded in their wisdom and truth. Let yourself receive the power there. So it's encouraging you to open up to the Akashic Records, and you're welcome to do that through me if you want. But there are lots of ways for you to learn how to connect to your own higher information. The records are about you. The records are about your path and your learning and your strengths and your connections, and also about the people who love you. And that sometimes I open my records just to feel that overwhelming power of love that comes through when I read my records or when I read somebody else's records. Just talking about it, I'm getting little tears in my eyes because it's such a powerful and beautiful feeling. So you can go online and learn how to open the records for yourself, or you can get a book. I recommend the one by Linda Howe, Howe. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's over on my shelf, Learning the Records or the Akashic Records or something. But it's Linda Howe, and it's like a yellowy, orangey book. And it's really simple. It's incredibly simple for anybody to open their own records. And I highly, highly recommend that you do that. Just to feel that love and to feel that safety and to feel that trust that all is well, even if your world is crashing around you right now, even if the biggest world, the bigger world around us is crashing right now. There's much you can do to be safe and to feel safe and to allow yourself to be all you through all of this. And if you have any struggle with that, please reach out and we'll find a way to help you stay strong and flexible and adaptable and open through this conflict, because I don't think it's the answer to build a new rock wall between those two streams. I don't think it's the answer at all. And I don't know what the answer is, but I do feel like the stream is going to come back together and that we'll see each other again in a new way after we've had all of these different experiences. And I look forward to that. I look forward to being with you now, whoever reaches out to me, whoever walks with me on any of my trails, or even anybody who holds their heart with mine and never speaks to me about it. I appreciate that. I appreciate your connection, your reaching out. And I'm just going to do my best to enjoy every day and get excited about this new future that we're all creating through the way that we know how to create it right now. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I look forward to going outside on a rainy day and taking my beloved Pooch for his rainy walk. He doesn't care if it's raining, so so why should I, right? I love you all, and I wish you great peace and great joy and great flexibility and great adventure as we move through this. Take care. Bye-bye.